We're here in the Bab of Siwak, which is our 89th chapter out of 135. And this is actually our 27th hadith out of this section, which would make it a total of 149 out of the whole book. 149 out of the whole book and 150. So we're getting close. We're about 75% done. Alright? Alhamdulillah. And today, Abu Ahmed is going to give the explanation for us. Sah wala la?
Right?
We're ready for you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم السواك مطهرة للفم مرضاة للرب. Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, Siwak is purification for the mouth and pleasure for the Lord. That's what how I translated it. I see that the way the translation is, it says it is a means for attaining the pleasure of the Lord. So I don't know if it's right to say just pleasure of the Lord. It was recorded by Ahmed from Aisha and Abu Bakr, and the narrations from Abu Bakr are weak. It is number 7 and 62 in Musnad Imam Ahmed from Abu Bakr, and it is number 24,203 from Aisha. And there's a bunch of other talk. Bukhari also recorded it, but in Mu'allaq form, 1934. That's the number that it says. I couldn't find it on that number in the book from Dar es-Salaam. I didn't have the book with me, so I had my daughter look for it. We couldn't find it like that. And it's also recorded by others. As far as number 2, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل الصلاة. This one is from Abu Huraira in Muslim, and also from Abu Zuhair with slightly different wording, number 252. And there is a wording also in Bukhari, number 847. It says, also from Abu Huraira, and others with different wordings. Some of them say ashukka ala al-nas, ashukka ala al-mu'minin. Anyway, the translation is, if it weren't that I was afraid that I would, no. If it wasn't that I would make it hard on my ummah, I would order them with siwak, with cleaning their mouth with siwak, with every prayer. The part, I guess, that's interesting for us is ashukka because of N before it, I guess. And I don't know how much time we have for this. I found interesting thing about siwak, explanation of luga and the meaning, and is it male or female, and what the action means and such.
Go ahead. Benefit us.
I found it in Nail al-Awtar from Shaykh al-Albani, and also in Sharh Imam, Takhrij Imam Ahmed by Ahmed Shakir, and I'll read, but I'll need your help in translation. It's only maybe 1 or 2 lines. Is that all right, or do you want to do that, or should we just keep going?
Go ahead.
قوله أبواب السواك وسنن سنن الفطرة. قال أهل اللغة, the scholars of grammar say, السواك بكسر السنين وهو يطلق على الفعل.
Okay.
I'll need your help with that.
And you said because of the scene, right?
No.
Then it says if you say siwak, then it refers to the action.
Okay.
It's applied to the action.
وعلى العود الذي يستوك به.
And on the wood. And on the wood.
وهو مذكر.
On the wood that is you use the miswak with, and it's male, masculine.
قال الليث وتؤنث العرب.
Layth said that.
I guess Layth said that the Arabs made it female.
Right.
قال الأزهري هذا من الأغاليط الليث القبيحة.
It's from the what?
وذكر صاحب الغالط الليث القبيحة. I guess the way I understood it, that he made a filthy mistake or something like that.
Spell the word if you can. I'm not understanding it.
Bain, Alif, Lam, Ya, Ta.
Oh, Nam. Okay. Got it. Mistake.
And the last part that I found interesting is وذكر صاحب المحكم أنه يؤنث ويذكر.
Yeah, it's feminine or it's masculine. Or it's masculine or it's feminine, either way. Yeah, as far as miswak, these issues, Sheikh Muhammad Uzair Shams, who's an Indian scholar who's currently in Mecca, he said that these issues of a item being male and feminine, unless it has like a ta marbuta or something like that, but even then, unless it's actually male or feminine, like a dog or a cat can be actually male or feminine, or maybe a plant, he said, then all this being strict about how to apply male or feminine to it, then we don't worry about that, right? There are rules, we follow them, but if someone goes against it or breaks it, they haven't done anything wrong, somebody might go against that rule on purpose. So is a miswak male or feminine? Inshallah, not that big of a deal. As for the hadith, as-siwak mutahharatun lil-fam is purifying for the mouth. Tahara, from tahara, right? We know that word tahara. Allahumma ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. O Allah, make me from those who are purify themselves. Lil fam. Al fam is the mouth. Fem is a word that is actually from something called the Asma al-Khamsa. It goes with ab, right? Ham, fem, and du. And when I add a pronoun to them, such as abuka, I add a dhamma. Whereas if I say beituka, I don't add a dhamma here. No. But on these five, abuka, akhuka,
Wow.
hamuka. Yeah, I had a wow. What did I say? A dhamma. Yeah. And fem can be the same way. It can be femuka, or it could be fuka. You drop the meme and you just treat it like feet. So you say fuka, right? Or fuhu. And so, because this abu and akhu and hamu can become abak wa akhak wa hamak, so on, fak wa that. And it can also become abik if it's majroor, and akhik and hamik and feek and thee. Dhil jalali wal ikram. Dhil jalali wal ikram, right? Feek. And we have feek here. So we can also have abihi, akhihi, hamiki, wa fihi. I can't remember what book I was reading one time. It was a book on Adab, I think. And it was talking about something being in his mouth, and it said, it said, no. Right there, take that off. It said, fee. And I was like, what is that, man? That's got to be a typo, right? Fee, right? But it was actually in his mouth, right? SubhanAllah. So, fam is one of those words, right? As-siwak mutahharatun lil fam. It is purifying for the mouth.
Okay.
Wa mardatun lil rabb. Marda is from radiya, like radiyallahu anhu, meaning pleasing. Meaning this is something that you use to, marda is something that you use to please or satisfy. Lil Rabb, for the Lord. So you could say it's a means of pleasing the Lord, or you could just say it is pleasing to the Lord, as some translations do. If you were to have your daughter look in 1934 of Bukhari, it's not in 34, it's above that. Because it's mu'allaq, meaning it's in the chapter title. So it's not in 34, it's right above it. So if you look inside of Bukhari in 1934, the paragraph just above the hadith, which is in volume 3, then you will see that Aisha radiallahu anha said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is a purification for the mouth, and it is a way of seeking Allah's pleasure. Right? It is a way of...
We actually looked for the other hadith, and I didn't get to look for this one. I looked for the other one, which said that was 847. And after she couldn't find that one, I just dropped it. I didn't even look for the second one.
As for the second one, we'll get there in a second, inshallah. This one, as we said, is in Ahmed and other than them. But the way Bukhari narrated this hadith, in the mu'allaq form, the way he said it, that Aisha said it, he said it like as a matter of fact, then it shows that he believed it was sahih. He didn't believe it was da'if and he was using it as support, but rather he believed that this narration here was sahih. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة. We had this hadith inside the 100 hadith. Lola. Low is if. Low is if. La is a negation. And ashukka. Ashukka is to cause hardship. Right? It's to cause hardship. Lola and ashukka ala ummati. Basically, if it were not that I would cause hardship on my ummah, ala ummati, if it were not that I would cause hardship on my ummah, la amartuhum, la, here's the lam of emphasis, or amr rather, lam of amr, la amartuhum, I would have, no, it's emphasis, I'm sorry, I would have commanded them, la amartuhum, amartu is to command, amara, amartu, amartuhum, la amartuhum, I would have commanded them bistiwak, with using the miswak, in the kulli salat, at every salat. I would have caused them or told them and commanded them to use a miswak with every salat. This hadith, it says in our footnote that is in Muslim. I couldn't find it in Muslim. Doesn't mean it's not there. But I did find it in Bukhari. It is not number 847, I think you said, but it is in 587. Now maybe whoever said that typed up, made a mistake. Or maybe they just have a different numbering system or something, you know. Inside of Sahih Muslims, there's 3 numbering systems. There's a number, another number, and another number. Sometimes the people use this number. Sometimes the people use this number. Sometimes the people use this number. It's hard for you to find. You have to find out what system that person uses.
Oh, Muslim I found.
Right? From Abu Huraira. I didn't find it. Where was it?
Yeah, it was 252 in the Dar es Salaam version of the thick Arabic book. 252.
250? 252?
Yeah, in the thick Arabic version, only one volume.
Yeah, 252. Okay.
And the numbers I researched from the Islam Port and Islam Web.
No. When we're looking up stuff, we got to realize people make typos, and I'm not saying that this happened here or 847 or something, but we have to figure out what kind of keyboard they got. Okay, at the top we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on down, right? So maybe if they want to click a 2, they accidentally hit a 1 or a 3. Or they want to hit a 3, they accidentally hit a 2 or a 4. Could happen. Or they might be using the keyboard that's on the side. And this is stuff that we have to import. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe they want to hit a 4 and they accidentally hit a 7. Or a 1. So those things that we got to look at. So if we don't find a number, then we have to check it. I remember one time for this class when I was looking in the back of Bukhari, because in the back of Bukhari from Dar es Salaam, it'll have the beginning of the hadith, the tarf of the hadith, and then it'll have the sahabi's name and then the number. For instance, 847. So someone could say, you know what, I'm busy, I'm just going to write down Abu Huraira, right, 847, because I see the atraf of the hadith right here, and that's it. So that's not Zubair making all that noise, huh? It's not Zubair, because I silenced him, and it's still all that noise. So, Abu Huraira, someone might do it, but I found this was actually a mistake. It was 848 or something like that before I found it. So it's important, inshallah ta'ala, that we verify, because we don't want to even inside the Dar es Salaam, they made a mistake. That it should be 848, not 847 in the index. So we want to make sure we verify that these things happen. Any questions about these hadiths? Go ahead, Abdullah, and read them for us.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم السواك مطهرة للفم مرضاة للرب. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أن أكك على أمتي
Shukka. What'd you say?
أشك على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة.
يلا يا أبو طاهر.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم السواك مطهرة للفم مرضاة للرب. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لولا أشق
يا محرم
لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة.
تفضل.
No,
Muharram, 1 second.
Go
1 second. Never mind. Go ahead, Muharram. Oh, yeah. Abdullah.
Okay. Mutharatun. Now I just heard you say Mutharatun and Abu Tahir said
It could have been a mistake from me. Yassine is here,
I
huh?
was wondering if it was supposed to be that.
Probably a mistake from myself for sure. I'm sure it's a mistake from me.
No.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah.
مطهرة. Oh, no.
Mutharatun. Yes. And that changes the meaning of it too. Mutharatun. Now, let's see where we're at. Next hadith. القطاس والتثاؤب. القطاس والتثاؤب. Qtas comes from atasa, as we know, meaning to sneeze. Right? Meaning to sneeze. Qtas is like a masdar. Sneezing. Sneezing right? And at-tatha'ub is yawning. From tha'aba, right? Meaning to yawn. So sneezing and yawning. At-tatha'ub, sneezing and yawning. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عطس غطى وجهه بيده أو بثوبه وغض بها صوته. إذا عطس كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم would, إذا عطس, when he sneezed, غطى وجهه. غطى from غطى. No, not a va. غطى from wajh, meaning, from غط, meaning to cover. Meaning to cover. غطى with a ya, the shadda is in the, makes it a form 2. Right? غطى, meaning to cover. He would cover wajhahu, his face. غطى is a verb covering his face. Mansub maf'ulun bihi. غطى wajhahu, wajh, his face. بيده, with his hand. أو بثوبه, or with his thobe. وغض بها صوته. وغض from ghain dad, meaning to lower or to conceal, to diminish. So he would not try to achoo like that, right? He would try to reduce the sound of it. غض بها صوته. He would use his thobe or his hand, right, to help diminish the sound. It says in the footnote here, خفض صوته. خفض غض, meaning خفض, meaning to lower, right? خفض, meaning to lower. We also have خفض, meaning jar, for those studying Arabic, right? Grammar. We have خفض, which is to lower, like jar. Jar is to pull something. Khafd is to lower something, right? So, غَدَّ بِهَا صَوْتَهُ. This hadith is in At-Tirmidhi from Abu Hurairah. I know that's sloppy down there, but y'all see it. Abu Hurairah, number 2745. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عطس, if he would sneeze, صلى الله عليه وسلم, غطى وجهه بيده أو بثوبه, he would cover his mouth, his face with his hand or with his thobe, وغض بها صوته, and he would lower with it, meaning his thobe, his hand, right, his hand, he would lower, he would conceal it, he would diminish with it, meaning with his hand, biha صوته, his voice. Sot, right? Sot is voice.
I think a lot of,
Any questions about that?
a lot of times I hear the translation said, to suppress.
That's fine. That's the same thing.
I'm just saying.
Okay. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا تثاءب أحدكم فليمسك بيده فإن الشيطان يدخل. إذا تثاءب, if أحدكم, Here's a verb, tatha'aba. Ahadukum. Ahadu is the fa'il. إذا تثاءب أحدكم. If one of you yawns. أحدكم, one of you. If one of you yawns, فَلْيُمْسِكْ بِيَدِهِ. We had this word the other day, masaka. Then hold or grab. فَلْيُمْسِكْ بِيَدِهِ. Then let him hold or stop it, to let him grasp it. Grasp biyadihi, with his hand, meaning let him cover his mouth with his hand. فَإِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَدْخُلُ. For verily, shaitan, and we see here from inna wa akhawatuha, shaitan will become mansub. And it's called ismu inna. يَدْخُلُ. فَإِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَدْخُلُ. Right? Shaitan enters. If you yawn, cover your mouth. Otherwise, shaitan is going to enter through your mouth. This hadith is in Muslim from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Right? Number 7491. Any questions about this hadith?
It's sort of, I guess, kind of off the topic, but according to last night, did that take that place of that thing? Because we got the mansub and then the majzur right there, right? If you know what I'm talking about.
No, this ida is not in, doesn't do anything.
So I can, okay.
Tatha'aba is past tense.
Okay.
If one of you yawned,
Okay.
right? But that's just how.
كان النبي صلى الله
Right?
عليه وسلم
تثاءب.
عطس
Otherwise, it would be yatatha'abu.
غطى وجهه
يتثاءب.
أو بثوبه وغضى بها
Right?
صوته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
Any other questions?
إذا أحدكم فليمسك بيده فإن الشيطان
What about the
يده.
hymn on the second one with the shaitan? That's the same thing there, right?
It's inna from inna wa akhawatuha. That's where I already said it. Become mansub, became ismu inna.
And then the other one is with the dhamma. Get the khul.
Yadkhulu. No, they don't have anything to do because this is a verb here. So it's a more complex sentence here. Right? Abu Tahir, you want to read for us?
كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عطس غطى وجهه بيده أو بثوبه وغضى بها صوته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا تثاءب أحدكم فليمسك بيده فإن الشيطان يدخل.
Okay. Muharram.
And then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ita atasa. غطى وجهه بيده أو بثوبه وغطى بها صوته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا تثاءب أحدكم يمسك بيده فإن الشيطان يدخل.
You see Yasin, how he just skipped over you, man, like I'm gonna jump in front of Yasin, I don't care if he's here or not. Oh, man. Come on, Yasin, read for us, brother.
كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عطس غطى وجهه بيده أو بثوبه وغطى بها صوته. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا تثاءب أحدكم فليمسك بيده فإن الشيطان يدخل.
Now, this next section is from al-libas wal-hay'a. Libas is from lam, ba, sin, right? Meaning here, clothes. Al-libas. Labisa yalbisu, to get dressed. Al-libas, clothes. Right? Or dress. Right? Dress. Not a dress like a skirt dress, but dress like getting dressed. Wal-hay'a from ha, ya, alif, you could say, right? Or you could look it up, ha, ya, hamza, same thing. Meaning here, appearance. Appearance. So dress and appearance. This next section, al-libas wal-hay'a, is dealing with dress and appearance. Tahrim al-isbal. Tahrim comes from harama or haram. Ha-ra-mim, haram. Tahrim, the prohibition of al-isbal. From seen by lam. Here we all know the word, we're very familiar with it. Isbal meaning dragging your clothes and letting them fall below the ankles, right? Sabala or asbala, form 4, means to drop, to drape, to let fall, to drop, drape, or let fall, right? That's asbala, where we get the word from, isbal. We have asbala yusbilu isbal, just like aslama yuslimu islam. You can see islam. We can see that in there. Man. Right? We see that. Right? Ihsan. We see that. So it's form 4. Asbala yusbilu isbal. To let fall, to let it drape. It's forbidden to let your clothes fall or drape below the ankle. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار ففي النار. Ma here is not a negation. It means what? We know that by the context. Asfala is the ism tafdeel of saf or safala or sufla. So you got asfala. What is below? What is lower? Something suful or safla, then this is something low. Right? We know in the Quran it says the munafiqeen will be in the asfala an-nar or asfala jahannam. It will be in the lowest part of the jahannam, hellfire. Right? Asfala, at the lowest. So safala is to be low. or be below, right? So below or be below. Man asfala here. What is below? Min al Ka'bayn, below the Ka'bayn. The Ka'b is your ankle, right? Whatever's below this ankle. Ka'bayn is two. Ka'ban, but because of the min, it becomes Ka'bayn. Min al Ka'bayn. Otherwise, it would be Ka'ban with an alif. Right? But it's majroor. This is marfu with an alif. This is majroor with a ya. We'll, of course, get there, inshallah. Min al Ka'bayn, whatever's below the ankles. Some people want to say the Ka'b is the heel. And sometimes the word Ka'b is used for this. Right? But this is called the aqab. Right? The heel. This is, we find this word in the hadith where a man made wudu and he had a dirham size spot, dry spot on his foot. The Prophet ﷺ told him to remake the wudu on the aqab, right? Waylul lil aqab min an-nar. Waylul lil aqab min an-nar. Meaning, take care of your ankles or your heels in making wudu. Don't be lazy in making the wudu where you just pass over your heel of your foot, your aqab, your heels. Ma asfala min al-ka'bayn min al-izar. From the izar. Izar, as we know, Yasin is the mu'awwis, right? The fancy thing that we wear, like a skirt, right? A loincloth, whatever you want to call it. The mu'awwis, the izar. But it doesn't just mean the izar. It means any clothes that you wear that are supposed to be that are worn from the top down. Because somebody might come and say, well, what about your socks? They're below your ankle, right? This is different. Something worn from the top down or something which is from the waist down, then this needs to be above the ankle. Your pants need to be above the ankle. The proof is the Prophet ﷺ saw a man wearing a bisht, and that's how it's described in the hadith, that a man saw the Prophet ﷺ wearing a bisht. The bisht is that robe that you see like the king of Saudi or Kuwait wear. It's got the little fancy gold trim like that. You know, his thobe is here, right? This is his hands, this is his feet, right? This thing here is a bisht. For those people who don't know, it's a bisht. What you see the khatib wearing on Jum'ah, or the imam wearing in Salat. Bisht. He saw him wearing a bisht. It was below his ankles. The Prophet told him, Izar al-mu'min nisfu sak, the izar of the mu'min. And he called it an izar. Even though the izar is technically the mu'awwis, this thing, right? It's also to be used for any type of clothes. So, ma asfala min al-ka'bayn min al-izar fa finnar. Then it is in the fire. Fa finnar. Then it's in the fire. Then in the fire. Then in the fire. It doesn't say it. It just says then in the fire. But whoever wears something below the ankles from the izar, it's in the fire. And then some of the scholars say, what did the clothes do to deserve the fire? So it means the sahib of the person is going to be in the fire. The sahib of those clothes will be in the fire. Not that the clothes themselves deserve it. This hadith is in Bukhari, number 5787, from Abu Huraira. Any questions? Okay. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من جر ثوبه خيلاء لم ينظر الله إليه يوم القيامة من جر ثوبه خيلاء لم ينظر الله إليه يوم القيامة. من جر is to, as we just said when we talked about khaft, right, is to pull. So it also means to drag, because if you're pulling something, you're dragging it. من جر ثوبه مفعول به منصوب. Whoever جر ثوبه drags his thobe. خيلاء from khil, khayalan, meaning out of arrogance. Khil, make sure how we get that. No, it's not from khil. Let me see something. One second here. Let me find the proper root for it. But the word is arrogance. Right? So how do we get there? Yeah, khiyal, yes. That's the root. Khuyala means arrogance. Men jarra thawbahu khuyala'a. Khuyala'a meaning arrogantly, out of arrogance. Lam yanzurillahu ilayhi yawm al-qiyamah. Lam is a negation. Yanzur from nadara, as we said, to look. We said the glasses are called nadara. Lam yanzurillahu, and this should be a sukoon here after lam. Lam makes the present tense verb have a sukoon. But because of the sukoon here and the sukoon on this lam, and we have to put a kasra there for reading purposes. So lam yanzurillahu ilayhi, Allah will not look at him yawm al-qiyamah, on the day of judgment. Allah will not look at him on the day of standing. Right? This hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Number 5791 in Bukhari and number 5457 in Muslim. From Ibn Umar. Right? Now, does that mean I can drag my thobe below my ankle if it's not done out of arrogance? No. This book is not meant to be a comprehensive study book, but there's another hadith that says al-isbal min al-makhila. Al-isbal min al-makhila.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
That isbal is from makhila. It's from arrogance. It itself is from arrogance. So there's no way to not do it arrogantly, especially once you know. So the Prophet ﷺ told you in this hadith, which is unrestricted, it doesn't mention khila, khuyala, or makhila. It just mentions ma asfala min al-ka'bayn min al-az'ar fa fi nar. Whatever's below the ankles from the izars in the hellfire. And you say, oh, well, that's stupid, or I'm not doing that. Well, you just became the people who do stuff arrogantly, right? So there's no way to escape it, especially once you know. Any questions?
Khuyala.
Khuyala.
Now, that's arrogance. Is, you know, because you see it out of arrogance, you know, but no, that's.
It really, because of this fatah here, is showing us the state of how he's doing it. Men jarra thobahu. For instance, if I told you, man, you pick up your thobe, I'm going to shoot you in your head. Your thobe better be below the ankles. You're not doing it out of khuyala. You're doing it out of force, as an example. Right? But here, this is showing the how. So it would probably best translated arrogantly. Out of arrogance or arrogantly. Right? Or out of vanity. Right? Whatever.
No.
Keep telling you, man. You keep trying to make this a translation class. It's just so we understand.
Trying to get understanding.
If you understand,
because you know, putting those words in there, you know, where it's coming from.
okay, you got it.
Maybe do something to you there.
Anyway, let's read Ya Muharram. Oh, no. Yalla Ya Yasin.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار ففي النار. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من جر ثوبه خيلاء لم ينظر الله إليه يوم القيامة.
نعم يلا يا زيد. Zayd.
Hold on, I got it now. You know I'm Bosnian, I'm slow. Hold on. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار ففي النار. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من جر ثوبه من جر ثوبه خيلاء لم ينظر الله إليه يوم القيامة.
نعم يلا عبد الله.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار ففي النار. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من جر ثوبه خيلاء
خيلاء
لم ينظر الله إليه يوم القيامة.
نعم يلا أبا طاهر.
قال النبي صلى الله عليه
You with us
وسلم
Abu Tahir?
ما أسفل من الكعبين من الإزار. Now, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, we hear you.
السلام عليكم. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
وعليكم السلام.
ما
We hear you.
أسفل من الكعبين كعبين من الإزار. You hear me? Y'all hear me?
Well, he
قال
obviously
النبي
doesn't
صلى
hear
الله
us.
عليه وسلم ما أسفل من القعبين من ففي نار. I hear you, but I think we got a delay, man. My signal keeps going green, yellow, red. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من جار ثوبه قل يا لا قل يا لا لم ينظر الله عليه يوم القيامة.
Jazakumullah khairan. Inshallah. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We have now completed 32 hadith in this section out of 99. So we're a third of the way done, inshallah. Inshallah. See you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.